When you're building trucks like this, you need to have a good foundation. It's the same as if you were gonna build a house from the ground up. You have to pour a nice foundation, and that's the most important thing before you start dressing it and putting everything on it and putting the accessories and finishing it out as a complete vehicle. You have to make sure that your foundation is squared away and it's gonna function the way that it should. Without having that squared away, you're just gonna have something that might look pretty and it's gonna go shit the bed out in the desert. So with my client that owns this truck, he brought me this chassis as a roller. It had the shock mounts done, rough motor mounts in it, and a lot of sheet metal done on the inside. And right from the start, I could see that there's some stuff here that is salvageable, and a lot needs to be redone to get the foundation squared away to build a really nice piece on. So that's what we've been doing. I don't know where it changed, or maybe it's just how I started building it, but then we realized, we have something special here, and we're gonna do something special. And this vehicle can be an example of what, we're capable of building and creating, and myself and other people. Just what, if you put your mind to it and you put passion into it, that this can be achievable. And so Thomas and I both are on this program here of running all the best parts we can on it and handcrafting the chassis and building everything by hand to the best we can, and getting the right people on board with the exterior and the styling of the body and the composites and all the carbon fiber and the powertrain, and just having all the right people on board with creating this handcrafted, luxury exotic Prerunner, where it's not just a luxury car, it's exotic. Everything, the way things look and the way they work and the styling is not just like your run-of-the-mill luxury car. It's an exotic car, and it's something special. And to combine all of the high-end parts and all the electronics and all the mechanical pieces that are the best we can get for it, plus having a handcrafted chassis and handcrafted dash and everything, just in an age where everything is laser cut and processed and do it on SolidWorks and blah blah blah, there's still this ability to create a vehicle that when you see it, you feel, that a human built that. Some of the specs on the truck, just to lay out the platform, is 35-inch travel rear, 26-inch travel front, 135-inch wheelbase, 92-inch track width outside of tire to outside of tire. We're running a King shock package, 4-inch bypasses in the front, 3-inch coilovers, 3-inch coilover in the rear, 4.5-inch bypass, 4.5-inch fin reservoirs for every single shock, 2.5-inch bump stops. We have a special motor and trans package, as well as a special rear diff. Some parts, like the fuel cell or the upper arms, a lot of machine parts are a SolidWorks item that then goes to get processed, via CNC, or if we're doing, metal stuff, it'll be laser cut. But all of the chassis and the tin work and the, the instrument panel, the dash, the upper console, all that will be hand fabricated. And we want to, really stress doing those things by hand. So this vehicle is crafted, by a human and not by a machine. I wanted to incorporate streamlined tubing, and not just in the A that you see in the structure of the roll cage where the windshield is, but also in areas like the B pillar, in areas like the down tubes, and also areas up in the front of the chassis, where that's a piece or a structure I would call like a structurally sculpted piece, where it's not just sheet metal. It's not just a tube, and it's not just plate. It's two tubes that are different diameters, that are shaped in the right spot, and plated and welded and blended. So everything is fully structural, but it gives that essence of a big formed, futuristic piece of metal there that's not only interesting to look at, but it's also twice or 3 times as strong as just having a tube there. Design plays a huge role in this build. So every structure and every shape, whether it's platework or sheet metal, is thought about and designed. If you look at the engine cross member on the interior of the chassis, you can see that there's a significant amount of plate structure that goes up with the aero tube landing into it, and the shock mounts in the cab. There's plate work with sheet metal surrounding it, and you can see that the shapes in the sheet metal and the radiuses and everything draws the same amount of tension and design all throughout the truck. So when you see it, you don't get lost in one area, and you don't get lost thinking, oh, that's a really cool shape. Oh, I like that. And then you look at other stuff and it doesn't correlate with other things. Everything should be tied in. So when you look at the vehicle all together, it looks like one nicely designed piece. And it's not too busy. It's not too many little details where they're stacked up so high that it just looks busy. You want to be able to draw the design into every area of the truck, so it all comes together as one. And that's what I've been trying to do with, you know, any of the plate structures, like the upper bulkhead and the lower bulkhead and the arms, and just if you start looking at all the angles and you start looking at all of the lines, and you look at the upper arms and the cuts that are in them, and then you look at the B pillars, and you look at the down tubes, and you look at the aero tube, and you just start to really take in where the geometry and the lines and the symmetry is in the whole truck. It'll really start to make sense. And when you start doing that with everything on the truck, the finished product is just this complete unit that is all tied in together.